Hi, I wanted to
Yo,
welcome Larry Beyah to the podcast. Hi, Larry Beyah.
woo! Let's get loud, Chrissy. Talk about it. How you doing, West Spot?
How are you doing, Loud? Let's just call each other by our show names.
Yeah. Hey, West Spot.
Yeah, I'm just,
Well, see, I would have to call you Chrissy Mayer's West Spot then.
yeah, you should.
Okay. Because I
How
have
have
to be
you been,
specific.
Larry? Are you outside right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I just took my recyclables out, so I was coming back in. But I like this lighting right here. Look at this. It's like I got a front lighting on me. This is like the garage light, but it's like it gives me like a great light
You
on
like
my.
you like being lit by the garage?
Yeah, like I
That's like
love
something a
being lit.
serial killer would say. You're like, I like
Okay,
this lighting over here by that dumpster. All right, cool. So you took your recycling out. Good.
okay.
You seem like one of the few people really affected by this quarantine. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people melting down left and right, and
Yeah.
you're just like positive Larry. Oh, and before that, I wanted to say, as part of your credit, Larry is the host of the Let's Get Loud show,
Yeah.
also at Compound Media. When do
Yeah.
you record your show now?
Okay, so now we do ours. We were doing it at 1 o'clock, and then we had to do remotely. So like I'm in a remote studio when I shoot mine now, like Hakumia is. I'm in my remote studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because you're
So
shooting yours from
um,
Connecticut.
yeah.
That's
So
good. That's good. This is my remote studio. It's the corner of
yeah.
my apartment.
Every
It's a chalkboard wall
I
that I
love it.
sometimes write curse words on when I feel
Mhm.
angry. And that's really it,
Do
usually.
you do you use that wall? Because I feel like that's a good wall for that.
Honestly, the only thing it's being used for right now is to like mark off my boyfriend's son's height. But other than that, like sometimes I'll have a creative splurge and I'll like
Okay.
splurge on the wall.
Yeah.
But I
Oh, a
can't let it get
splurge.
close to the height and like ruin the memories. So I got
Yeah.
to keep it over here. And also,
Okay.
if it's like, filthy or a curse word, I have to sort of remember to erase it at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this is my, inspiration wall. I'm just trying to, live in a safe creative space. I don't know. But Larry, you seem like one of the few people who's keeping it together in quarantine.
Yeah.
Is that true? Or
That
is it
is
a
true.
facade? What's going
No, it's
on
not
here?
a facade. I was in Desert Storm. This shit does not scare me. Like you, like I know that people are scared. I get that, but I see the bullshit in a lot of stuff, so I won't address that. But because I don't want people to think that I'm taking this thing lightly. But I've been at that place where I almost died. I've been at that. I've been shot a couple of times. I've been at that place where stuff was more difficult for me and pressing for me in the moment than this is right now. So it's not phasing me. It's like I'm numb to fear from a television that says, "Ooh, put your mask on and don't go outside." It's sort of like how when the weather used to hit, and they used to be like, "Yo, we're at a red alert," or the color is orange today about something. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So you've served in the military, right? So
Yeah.
you've cheated death. Like you
Yeah.
so what you're saying is you've been in like, I guess, sort of actual dangerous situations and not just like,
Yeah.
this is another flu going around. Like I agree too. I think it's so overhyped. It's the numbers have been like aggressively exaggerated.
Yeah.
um it's the amount of it's insane that it's gone on this long, and it's
Yeah.
hurting way more people than it's helping at this point, and for something that's really not all that dangerous.
And I see the inconsistencies in it. First, okay, because I can break it down because I'm one of those type of people. I'm very analytical, and I study a lot of things. And us as comedians, we do that anyway.
You're
But
very
what?
yeah, you're smart. You observe. Comedians really are smarter people because we're just watching and observing.
Yes, and so what I see is the things that was going along. We weren't the people who were falling for the bullshit before this pandemic. We were watching other people fall for it, and we were making fun of it. But the thing is that when this pandemic started, they said we didn't need masks. Now it's like, okay, now we need masks. But then people were like wearing their masks and gloves out, and they were contaminating themselves and the phone and everything like that. Then it was like, wait a minute. You say you put on the mask and gloves, but you're putting it on as if you don't have anything, and so you're touching this and you're touching this and you're touching your phone. So you're contaminating yourself, and then you're riding around in the car with your mask on all the time, not breathing fresh oxygen. So it's like the common sense went out the window. And then they
Yeah.
said, well, okay, 6 feet apart or whatever like that. And then it's like, okay, so when is it cool to be 6 feet apart and when is it not? So if I'm in the store and I just happen to go down the aisle, there's no way that we're measuring 6 feet as we're walking. So at some point in time, we come in and out of each other's space. So we're more at risk about that. If I'm in in a little shop or whatever like that, if I'm in the grocery store. But then if you tell somebody you were hanging with some people, they say, well, did you maintain 6 feet? That's what the girl just told me tonight, that my boy is fucking. And then she said, well, did you maintain 6 feet when you was with that other girl the other night? I said, no, I fucked her. So there's no way I'm maintaining 6 feet from her.
So
Or
you've
whatever.
had a quarantine hookup, is what you're
Oh
saying.
my God, I've had many quarantine hookups.
You've had many quarantine hookups. Wow,
stop.
you've been getting dicking all over town.
I
Good
don't
for you.
stop. I don't stop who I am because the world says, "Yo,
The
we need to
world
stop."
doesn't stop just because there's a flu. Flu's
Yeah,
not this
yeah.
away, says
It's not
Larry.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
So she gonna say so she was just here. It just happened. I came back, off my bike ride because I go out on my bike ride every day, and I was talking, prepping for my show this week or whatever like that. So I usually do it when I'm on the bike. So I came back in, and so I was just saying a matter of fact story about a chick's name I couldn't remember. So I was asking my boy to ask me to remember her name.
Very
And then
memorable. Yeah.
So she was like, so I'm gonna ask you something. So when you're hanging with these people, are you 6 feet apart? And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not accustomed to lying to women. That's just not gonna happen in this lifetime. So I was like, no. So she was like, well, you're putting me at danger. I'm like, how am I putting you at danger? You're with us. You made the choice to come over here, and I don't know. But the common sense, Chrissy. So
also, you don't know who all she's been around. You could just as easily, pick something up at the grocery store. People spend at least an hour and a half in a grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes less if you're in and out, but it's like very easy to spend just as much time in a grocery store as you would say at a comedy show or like doing literally anything else. And it's like, if you and your buddies all feel healthy and have been healthy for the last few months, and you're adults, you're allowed to use your common sense and your adult judgment and just none of us are sick. We're going to hang out. We're not going to lose our minds. And it might be a sweeping generalization, but the more I observe, like, people on TV and just people out and about, to me, I find it's more women that are like fucking being insane about this virus than men. And I don't know if because like overall women are maybe more concerned about their bodies and their health, statistically speaking, than men. But like, I have found that it seems way more women are misinformed. Way more women are way more scared than they need to be. I mean, you need to be like 5% scared, not 95% scared.
Right.
And it breaks my heart to see. Like it's really sad. Like I've started going running too. I ran twice this week, patting myself on the back. But like I've gone on a lot of walks with Frank over the last couple months, and it actually makes me really sad to see people running, riding their bikes, walking with masks on, because it's like you're doing yourself a disservice by just you're in a CO2 loop. It's not good.
Yes, thank you. And that's what I'm saying. The common sense doesn't come in. It's like we're not supposed to breathe in CO2 like that. But because you're scared, you're going to do something that's counterproductive to you, which will then make you sick. And all of a sudden, you'll go to the hospital and they'll say, you know what, it was a COVID death. And another thing, a lot of people, because she had just ordered from a delivery service. Now, the delivery came.
This is your booty call girl?
No, this was my boy's girl.
Okay.
So the delivery just came. So now they're eating out of the box that came in from the delivery person. You don't know if who he's been in contact with.
Oh, she wasn't one of these people who wipe down their groceries?
Exactly. But she wants to judge me on being around people. And so I said, wait a minute, you don't see the common sense, the bullshit you're talking about, because this delivery guy who just delivered your fucking food, he delivers your food. You don't know who he's in contact with, but you're just going to take the box from him and then eat out of it.
All over that box of cereal.
Put
that bag of baby carrots down his pants. Nobody knows.
And it was pizza. And it was pizza. So it was like, you don't know the guy who cooked it, you know, who he was in contact with this week. So there is no consistent measurement. It's just pick and choose philosophy.
Anytime you get food from outside your own apartment or house, that's a risk. You don't know who made that food. And, I think it's the people who in their life would be you know, they like to be maybe holier than thou, or they like to be the one that's right, or they like to like put somebody else in their place or make somebody else
Yes.
feel bad or guilt. I feel like those are the people that are really coming alive right now. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
fucking germaphobes are having their
Yes.
day. The worry warts, the like
The
sort of
Democrats.
people. This is their time to shine. They can
Yeah.
be like, I told you so. Oh, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's really the perfect storm to make people paranoid because there's so much misinformation out there. Oh, we don't know how the virus is spread. We don't, no one, it's like the perfect, most bullshit. If you asked a child to make up a virus, it would be this. Oh, no, we never know. We don't know who has it. We don't know who's passing it around. We have
Yeah.
no idea. And it's like, oh, you could get sick or not. It affects old people, JK. It's like, it's
Yes.
so inconsistent at this point. I think people are like, yeah, this has been it's fucking going on the third month now, and it's
Yeah.
getting really nice out. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are just done. Like I was never really like like a mask wearer. If I like go into a deli or a store or something and they enforce it, like of course I'm not gonna be like
Right.
about it, but as soon I'll be like out the door and like just because it's like you really can't breathe when you're wearing one. It's really uncomfortable.
You really can't. And so the thing is that you can't be new to it and then be the foremost authority on it. Like that's what's getting me. It's like, you know, when did you become the foremost authority?
Yeah.
You know, but that's how it is. But you know, I can't wait for Chrissy Marin's wet spot. Mikey
You can't
says hello.
what?
I was telling Mikey that we was on. It was Chrissy Marin's wet
Is
spot.
this your roommate?
Yeah. So the thing is that he just got back. So the thing is that, you know, we don't know. So we have to like hope that the cities open back up so the people can tell the people, you know, it's okay to, you know, go to different places. And then I guess people then will feel more comfortable, you know, getting back to their regular lives because we're Americans. You're not going to keep us in the house on our weekends when it's sunny.
What they are able to do is like keep, you know, a lot of these governors are just keeping their states shut down. I mean, they do have, unfortunately, a lot of control. A lot of them do have say when some businesses open. I mean, and to the individual business owners, like I applaud them that they're just being like, fuck it and opening because you're entitled to make a living. And it's like, at this point, it's like, it kind of doesn't make sense who's open and who's not. And like, who's to say that comedy right now is not essential?
Right.
People
Who's
are
to say that?
depressed and suicidal probably more so than they ever been and unemployed and like they probably need a boost, you know, that's
If you
drugs.
if
So
you're gonna open up the hair salons and open up the comedy clubs, because you
yeah.
know, I just don't see why the comedy clubs aren't open. You know, but I know what they'll say. Well, we can't have 200 people in a room. You know, we can't have 300 whatever. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Everybody don't have to go. If people that feel confident that they're okay, then they should go. But I think that what's happening is that they're picking and choosing. They're saying, okay, hair salons should open, but churches shouldn't. But
Yeah, how is
banks
that
can,
any less essential?
yeah, banks can open, but schools can't. You know, it's like there's no. What is your rubric? Like you're not showing a consistent rubric to say this is what we're basing this business on, and this is what we're basing this business on. It's just that the red states are saying we're opening back up, and the blue states are saying fuck you. Now it seems political.
And it's so hard to talk about this without getting political because the longer it's gone on and then now we see the way that blue states are kind of all acting a certain way and blue governors are all kind of acting a certain way and keeping things shut down and it seems like they're trying to shove socialism down their throats,
Yes.
whoever will let them, and it makes them feel like, oh well, I'm God now, so
Yeah.
my fucking dad has a bridge named after him, I can do whatever I want.
Exactly. And ironically, during an election year, just ironically.
So what do you think? Do you think that this was like done on purpose to thwart the election so that the Democrats could get all of their votes mailed in?
Yes, I do believe that. I do believe that 107% believe that because like I look at, they took an opportunity and people in power do that. They say something started way over in China, but now it's affecting America the most. How ironic during our election year that something way over there skipped Germany, skipped Russia, skipped all these other places. And China's numbers were supposed to start, it went way down. But America, we're supposed to just be going up, 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 up. And we're just out of control. And we're supposed to blame our president for that. That's just bullshit. And that is a direct narrative from what the Democrats have been doing to this man for the last 3.5 years that he's been in
Yeah, it's been
office.
incessant. And like everyone's like, oh, and it's like this kind of, the amount of shit they're giving Trump is like unequal to any other president thus far. Like some of the shit
Abraham
is
Lincoln
good.
didn't get this.
Not everyone is going to like the president. That's fine. But like, I think Trump has had to deal with like triple the amount.
Yeah, on every issue. He just came out of an impeachment and then right into this. And before the impeachment, it was something else. And before the something else, it was the Stormy Daniels. And before the something else, it was something. They never gave this president. And to me, the media has been so treasonous because of this. They never gave this president his due. Like, he's the president of the United States. He's the commander-in-chief of the military. He's the one at the top making the decisions. But every single day you found something. He didn't wear his tie clip properly. His tie didn't come down above his belt a certain way. He breathed too many times during this press conference. He rolled his eyes. No matter what, they're
so much more critical. And what's really sad is I think the majority of people, the people that are just, tunnel vision on getting their media, like they're just mainstream media watchers, they're going to think, oh, and I talk to people all the time who are like, well, Trump is just horrible. And I'm like, why? He's despicable. He's racist. He's horrible. And I'm like, people have feelings about Trump, but they don't actually point to the things he's done, which is the shit that matters. It's like, he's bold, he's brash, sometimes he's an asshole, but guess what? Like, he had the economy in the best shape it's been since a very long time. And I think most people are like, oh, well, I just feel he's racist. I just feel he sucks. And they don't look at anything he's done. It blows my mind that adults are thinking this way.
Because the TV told them when they got up and went to work, hate this man, hate this man, hate this, don't give him a chance, hate this man. Any soundbite that CNN and any of those NBC channels and everything like that, any soundbite, people start regurgitating those things, and now that became fact. It just became fact. And my thing is like this, has nothing to do with the coronavirus now. This has nothing to do with if the virus is supposed to be, on or off or where it's growing or anything like that. It's every day. It's like, wake up just to hear how much we're supposed to hate this man. And why, and it's been consistent since the day he ran for president. It's been consistent. Hate him because of this. Hate him because of this. He said, grab him by the pussy. He said something about Rosie O'Donnell. He said something. And you can look at every month of his presidency and there was something new. And, and then as soon as he got out of one thing and proved them wrong, they brought up something else.
They find something else. Yeah.
And then ironically, they're using this situation. And I just think that it's more than what we know about, but it's like I'm more concerned with the common sense that the average person is not using as opposed to political sides to be on, because that's another person's choice. I could care less if you're Democrat or Republican. I'm going to love you. But the thing is that the common sense that you're saying that who is that bad? Like, do you understand that this man, other than Hitler, has to be the worst man ever in history?
The comparisons to Hitler are absurd. Like, not by a long shot is he even in the he's probably in the top third of presidents, like in terms of what they've done and like a good presidency. He is so far from the worst president. It's like anyone who says that has no grasp on history. And for me, it feels more like it's this cool kids club, like the club of bashing Trump, the club of like, well, I don't have to really know what's going on. I can just say I hate him and use these buzzwords and it'll sound like I know what's going on. It'll sound like I'm in the club. Everyone's in this club together. We're all cool and in the know because we, you make it seem like you have the same beliefs so you don't have to really think for yourself. And people are being spoon-fed their ideas. And I'm trying to not do it the same thing either. I'm trying to like familiarize myself with it. It's tough because I'm not like a person who's so fascinated by politics until really recently did I even start looking more into like Q and the deep state and more conspiracy theory type stuff. Like that interests me because that goes back like really long time.
Well, what gets me is
you, Larry. So you would say you're a Trump supporter.
Well, yeah, because he is the president of the United States of America, and I'm going to support the president of the United States of America no matter who he is. I didn't agree with Obama, but I didn't say a peep about him because he was the president of the United States of America. I was in the
You have
United
to
States
just
military.
respect them.
You have to respect the position. He's the boss of the family. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he is the man who is the commander-in-chief of the military. I was in the military. I understand what that means, that our buck stops with him. I can't not support him because I'm not in the military now, because I understand that there are people still in the military, and you can't have the ranks divided. And our country is so divided now. What better time for somebody to try to get in and manipulate our system of government, who we are as a people? We're worse than what we were during the Civil War. And during the Civil War, England was going to attack us while we were fighting the Civil War, because they wanted their country back, because, you know, they established, you know, America, and then we declared our independence, you know, all that. But the thing is that England was going to attack us because it's like, oh, they're fighting, we're going to fight with the South or whatever like that. And Russia was the one that told England that if they attacked us, they were going to attack England. That's on history. That's in history, because we were divided, and England was going to take advantage of that. I believe countries like Germany, like Russia, like China, like all these people would take advantage of us being so polarized now, because it's like, I watched England's news when they're talking about the virus. It's so calm, it's so peaceful, it's so informative. They're talking to doctors and everything like that. Ours is always finger pointing. CNN gets on first thing in the morning, it starts finger pointing at Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's chaotic, and that's what, you know, when they say order out of chaos, or you know, they want to create a chaos in our country just so they can give us the solution and say, oh, you know what would be better for you? Socialism.
Yeah. Yeah. They're creating the chaos. It's like, we
Yeah.
really would have been better off if you all just like chilled out a little bit. And what's interesting is, like, I appreciate your point on, like, whoever the president is, you have to respect him. It's like, the president of the United States is not your dad. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like your dad, you can act like a petulant child. You can throw a hissy fit. You be like, fuck you, dad, and slam the door to your room and knock him out and not eat dinner. That is how so many Americans are treating Trump. And it's like, yeah, he's bigger than that. He like, you know, like, you have no, like, real, you know what I mean? Like, his job is so big, and he's like, at the end of the day, like, he wants to protect everybody. And I think he truly has a good heart and has everybody's best interest. Like, is he the perfect president? No. It's like, if I was, you know, but that's impossible. That's never going to happen. I think people are just like, not at all looking into his accomplishments. And now with this big, like, COVID virus bullshit, it's so easy for, like, the people with this agenda and these motives. Like, well, we're going to focus on this because, like, the virus is all his fault, and everything the bad that's resulted is because of his mismanagement. And it's like,
and people like Cuomo.
It's so easy to say, but what are you going to back that up with?
People like Cuomo, I am so disappointed in. Like, you know, I'm extremely disappointed in Andrew Cuomo and his brother Chris, and, you know, because, you know, you're like his capos. The governors are like his capo. The governors are the people that should all be saying, listen, we're going to get through this together. Trust me, we have a different way of looking at it than the president do, but the president is still the one that's in charge of a lot of these things. So let's give him his support, and we'll have meetings or whatever. I mean, he comes out and blatantly, like, just disrespects them. Like, if you was in a mob family, you would get whacked for that. I'm just saying. Like, so what I'm saying to you, what Cuomo is doing, he's baiting his Democrats during an election year to say we have to rally. Now it's about politics. It never was about this virus. It was about the virus in the beginning when they were telling us to stay at home. Now it's strictly about politics. If you don't agree with him, show him, tell him, you know, march, whatever like that. From the time the man got in office, people marched up to Washington to show their displeasure. I've been knowing of a Donald Trump since the 70s. You know what I'm saying? I was born in the 60s. I've been knowing of like, Donald Trump was on my radar in life in the 70s. I remember when he was that young bachelor, when he was that cool kid or whatever like that. He was
like, I did coke with him once now.
You know what I'm saying? I would have, but the thing is, but the thing is that he was just the bachelor. He was just the rich kid bachelor that was fucking a lot of girls or whatever like that. All of a sudden now, nobody said a peep outside of his position on the Central Park Five. Nobody said that he was a racist, and that was such a different situation, because a woman was raped, wrongfully raped, and there was people in the park, and people thought it was these people right here. Whether the police was trying to prop them up to do that, that's a whole different subject. We saw the documentaries or whatever. But the bottom line is, this is what he thought. And he has a right to have an opinion on it, whatever like that. But nobody thought he was racist because he was still hanging with Oprah. He was still hanging with Whitney Houston. He was still hanging with Michael Jackson. He was still hanging with Don King. He was still, all throughout the 80s, up until I went to the military, he was still hanging with all these people, Herschel Walker and all this. Nobody, Jesse Jackson, everybody was fucking with Donald Trump back then. All of a sudden, and Oprah even asked him, do you think you should run for president? Because I like your agenda. Go back and look at those interviews with him and Oprah, and she was trying to coerce him.
I remember. I've seen it.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, the man goes and runs. The first thing out people's mouth is he's a racist. Get the fuck out of here.
Because it's just an easy thing to say. Like, he's a white guy. He looks like he could be racist.
Yeah.
And right now, it's like the easiest thing in the world is to call somebody a racist, call somebody a Nazi. Those are just words, unfortunately, that people throw around when they just don't like someone or they just disagree with something.
Yeah.
It's like they've become so watered down and so thrown around.
And then they tell you, because I'm going to tell you, there are certain words that are trigger words that would make you discount anything somebody says. So if you start talking about a theory that they don't know about and they go, oh, that's that conspiracy stuff. The minute you hear the word conspiracy, it tunes you out. It makes you not listen to what the next person is about to say.
Yeah, it's dismissive. Yeah.
It's dismissive. So what they've done is that, but we put together a conspiracy to do this show tonight. Because all conspiracy means by definition is to plan to do something.
The IRS came up with the word conspiracy specifically as a way to answer to people who would say that JFK's death was the CIA, whatever. The CIA came up with it as a way to thwart people that were like, hey, JFK's death seems like an inside job. So they were the ones that actually like came up with the.
And it's so funny. You can look at something with your own eyes, make your own decision about it, like JFK's death. And I'm glad fact checker Frank was there, was the CIA. But I'm glad that you could look at something with your own eyes and see. So wait a minute, it just doesn't seem like one person shot this man in Dealey Plaza. It just, from my eyes. But then if you say that, they're like, oh, that's conspiracy or whatever. Wait a minute. Either you're trying to cover something up, or I'm not here to fight no thing, but I'm just trying to say I don't agree with your official story on it, and I think that we should be able to discuss it. But in this country, anything discussing outside of what that TV tells you to believe,
oh, you're crazy. Yeah.
Then you're crazy. It's like we can't even have a conversation about it. Like we can't even mention it.
It's because people, it's like a muscle you haven't worked, having an open mind and having an intellectually curious mind and like being skeptical. That's a muscle. And it's just this country, the average person, like that muscle has gone flabby and they've gone lazy in that sense because they're just like dead-eyed and used being fed all their opinions and they don't even know that it's happening.
And us comedians, that's what our job is. Our job is to see through that bullshit. That's why we have our voice as comedians, because we laugh at the absurdity of things like that. If every comedian, and you're one too, that is of our level, we look at stuff and the absurdity of that bullshit makes us laugh, and then we make them laugh at themselves. We make sure they get a 2-drink minimum in it so that it doesn't turn into a town hall meeting. And we make sure, and they come in all coked up or whatever, weeded up and everything. They're ready to have a good time. And we turn the mirror back on themselves through our antics or whatever like that. And then but then they tell us, well, we can't assemble. We can't have comedy clubs now, whatever like that. What does that sound like? Free speech,
which is like, yeah, maybe people could have an open dialogue about some of the bullshit things that are going on right now. It's like they're just... And the censorship going on social media and on YouTube is like kind of unprecedented levels. It seems like now they're kind of deleting accounts of anybody who seems like, I think I heard Sam Tripoli's YouTube was demonetized and he...
What the hell? For what?
So it's like, seems to be happening more and more, but I was getting away from the question I wanted to ask. So,
go ahead.
So yeah, you support Trump in the sense that he's the president, you respect him. Does that belief have a lot of people given you shit for that or given you a
my God
time?
From the very, let me tell you something. I lost my girlfriend for 9 years behind me voting for Donald Trump. She
Wow.
was a staunch Democrat. Elizabeth Warren, Hillary Clinton. It's time for a woman. Da da da. And listen, I'll be the first to say yes. It's time for a woman to be that, but not that woman, not those women. And I'm not going to vote for it just because it was a woman. I'm just like I didn't care for Barack Obama because he was happened to be half black or whatever like that. You know, I'm half. So the thing is that what I'm saying to you is that I'm not. I'm going to make my choices. But I remember in the comedy community, people stopped booking me, but I still have a lot of books. See, that was the blessing with me.
Wow. People stop booking you. That's like
Yeah,
that's pretty unfair, actually.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and listen, mind you, I already did have a checkered, relationship with some of these clubs too for fucking girls in the bathroom and saying what I
Which
wanted to.
clubs? Which club did you fuck a girl in the bathroom?
Which club did not?
Oh boy.
But the thing is that when people are so like, because I saw this Me Too movement coming along, and I saw men becoming bitches. Like, and I'm not saying that that some of these Me Too movements wasn't legit, but it seemed to be too convenient to say something happened 15 years ago when you was with it, or Louis C.K. jacks off in his own hotel room, and you didn't just pick up your fucking coat and just leave the room.
Right.
I'm not going to speak against you, but what I'm going to say is I don't buy your fucking story. And that's just me. Now, if you got a bunch of liberal, very staunch women who are comedians and, their boyfriend happened to be a booker of the club or whatever like that, and he becomes a staunch liberal behind it or whatever like that, okay, I'll salute you. You and her are allowed your opinion, but you can't tell me I'm not allowed my opinion too, especially when y'all are attacking me about a man we both don't know. I don't know Donald Trump, never had a conversation with him. But if you're saying, well, why are you voting for Donald Trump and we're sitting in the green room?
So he actually asked you? He like got in your bit, like, did he actually, this club booker, did he actually ask you, like, why did you vote for Donald Trump?
No, it wasn't him per se, but it was a group of comics that was so Hillary that year. And I just happened to be sitting in the green room, and they were like, it was a Saturday. I remember it was a Saturday night, and it was like Donald Trump. And I think me and Pat Dixon were the only ones that were like, Donald Trump at the time or whatever like that. And we had solid answers for what anybody wanted to say, but they were so hate mongering.
Wow.
And I'm one of those type of people. Like I said, I fought in Desert Storm. There is no back down in me. I support the United States of America. I've always supported the United States of America. I defended this country, and I take that very seriously. So if someone tells me that I don't have a right to vote for who I want to vote for, I take that personally because I'm like, wait a minute.
They have a right to vote and you don't?
Right.
How is that fair?
I fought for your right to have an opinion, and I also fought for my right to have an opinion. But if y'all going to now start attacking me because he said I'll grab him in the pussy, shit, I'm not a saint. You should have heard some of the shit I said. But the thing is that, like, don't act like you are holier than thou. You never did anything. But then when you hear that I'm doing that, then people are like, oh, yeah, Larry the Trump supporter, Larry the Trump. Now, but then I stood on it. I'm like, I'm not going to back down off of it. I'm not going to say I'm not because.
Wow. Which is actually taking a risk in some circles in New York comedy. It's like
because I'm bigger than in this respect. I've done things bigger than New York comedy.
Yeah, you've been to war.
I was in a fucking war. You know what I'm saying? I've been shot twice. I've been to a place bigger than, because I know the audiences love me because I don't talk about politics on stage. I make people laugh. But if the management of these clubs get angry at me because I'm a Donald Trump supporter, well, that's your choice.
That's really personal, and that's almost like, I mean, is there a word for that? It's like political racism. I mean, there's no word for it. It's just being I don't know.
Yeah,
really close-minded. And it's
my
like,
family.
wow, so the people that work your club have to think like you, have to vote like you. Like,
yeah. And my
what happened to diversity booking? What happened to having a diverse lineup of diverse voices? Oh, except for when it comes to politics, then we take that back.
My family, I remember, it's like, like I'm part Italian, I'm Black, I'm Native American, but my Italian family, all Republican. Boom, boom, boom. A Black family, of course, because of the Barack shit and the bullshit, throughout the years, how the Democrats, had to hold on to the Black vote and all like that. What they did was, I was at my aunt's house once. I was at my aunt's house during the election year or whatever. And I thought we was all talking. I thought we were just all having a conversation. So when they was dissing Donald Trump, I just wasn't participating in it. So you know how like when that person that's very vocal is not talking, people
Yeah.
recognize that motherfucker not talking. So I wasn't talking. So I was like, well, you know, I kind of like you. You what? You like Donald Trump? Oh my! I thought World War III was gonna break. I thought I was gonna get. I thought people were gonna fight me inside of a home that used to love me for being
Wow.
who I was as an individual. My aunt, I mean, she just basically went the fuck off with it. She was going in the kitchen with the macaroni and cheese in the bowl. And, you know, she was cleaning up, whatever. It's like the record stopped, like,
Like angrily cleaning. Yeah.
yeah. And then she came back in the room, what the da-da-da? And he's a da-da-da racist, and you out there with all them people, and they're changing you. And whoa, slow down, FedEx.
Yeah,
Slow
you've
down.
changed. That's what people like to say. It's like anytime you evolve, guess who changes? Everybody. Everybody should change if they're stretching themselves and living a life where they're constantly being tested and bumping around and like learning new things. You should always change.
And that kind of like for a moment, because I really don't have feelings like that, you know, but that kind of stung me because that was the aunt that used to make my blueberry biscuits, muffins when I was growing up. You know, that was the aunt that I used to have conversations with when I was growing up and everything like that. But I became who I am as a man and throughout the world. And I've traveled all over the world and I interact with a lot of people. So I've seen different things. And so when I see the bullshit that American politics have done to the black race specifically, you know, to keep them, the Democrats, to keep them in there, you know, keep them wanting to be beholden to them by giving them free programs and everything like that or whatever. What I see is that, oh, you're buying their vote. They're not deciding to choose for you. They're dependent on you and they have no other choice because they know
you've made them dependent on you.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the hustle. And it's like, and so when I see that and I talk about that, they say, I've changed. Well, I never took those programs anyway. Only program I ever have taken in America was the GI Bill. But I went to Desert Storm to go get it. There was friends of mine who wanted to get the GI Bill who didn't come back, who are dead. So I look at it like I was at a place in time where I was 17 years old, went to the prom, and the next thing I know, I went to a war. Then I came back here with PTSD, and next thing you know,
you're boutonniere on your
yeah, my boutonniere in war with an AK-57.
You're still holding like your girl's thong from last night, like
exactly.
Anyway,
and now I'm really pissed because these people are very serious about defending their country, and we're over here on a mission. I just did this shit to get money for college, and I'm damn sure I want to come back. But when I come back, I don't want you to tell me who I should vote for because I've been through too much. So if you in your New York comedy clubs or whatever like that feel like, oh, we can't book you, listen, I'm booked at the places I'm supposed to be booked at. Gotham Comedy Club has my back like a bra strap. The Brigada, all the places.
No comic works every single club. It's just kind of impossible. It's like you kind of find your people, the people you like, who respect you and appreciate you, and that's where you should go. I mean, that's every comic's job, is to find where you're celebrated and people who get you.
But they know if I get on stage, they know the people are going to be laughing, and they know the people are going to say, we like this dude. Because I take my job seriously. I'm a funny motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So to not like me or want me around because of my political views or whatever, like, and I'm not even that political dude. I'm not that dude that
really
walk around.
You really just are funny, and you really like. I've never seen you not be funny on stage. Like you'll never do a gig where people leave like, oh, I was enjoying him until he launched into some like political shit or he was shitting on religion. Like you're never gonna divide a room. Like there's comedians, and like I think that comedians are mostly into two groups. And like group number one, comedians who prioritize funny above everything else, and group number two is other things end up coming before funny.
Because they came to laugh.
Whether it's like being right, having the best political, you know what I mean, like throwing, you know, oh, I have more facts, or oh, like I'm funny, or oh, like I hate Trump more than you. It's like, okay, well, if you can find a way to make that really funny, do it. But a lot of them can't, and it makes an awful lot of people.
10 times out of 10, I come to the club to make the people laugh and to get some pussy afterwards. I mean, that's just what my scenario ends up being.
That's just what we do. Yeah.
That's what we do. So.
Now, Larry, so after you sort of, at what point, so how did Loud start? How did it come about? When did you
Okay.
get inspired?
Okay. Loud stands for living out your dreams.
I just thought it was because you were
LOUD.
loud.
And also too, because in the military I lost part of my hearing, and I became louder than everybody else. And people always say, "You're a
Oh,
loud
I just thought it was
motherfucker
because
now."
you're fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's like I have to. It's not like I have to wear a hearing aid or anything like that. But just like when you have things exploding around you, and all, and plus I probably listen. Getting older, shit, you know. But the thing is that my loudness. So everybody used to always say, "You're loud, you're loud, you're loud," and then plus loud meant a lot of different things. Loud was the weed. I wasn't smoking weed, but I remember loud had that weed connotation onto it. And then Jennifer Lopez had this song, "Let's Get Loud, Let's Get Loud," and so I had met Jennifer Lopez, and I just was fascinated by her, and that song or whatever. And so I was like, let's get loud or whatever like that. That's going to be the show, because people know with me, when I walk into a place, oh, it's on. The party is
Yeah.
started. I don't think about nothing else but a party when I step into a room or
Yeah,
whatever
you
like
are
that.
like a traveling party. You're like a piñata, you're just
Yes.
fun. You're full of fun and candy.
It's because my mission statement is remember fun. Remember fun. Remember when it was okay to have fun. And
Yeah.
that's what I try to bring to it, because I've been to Desert Storm. I have the PTSD. That was sort of like my release too, to be able to tell myself, remember, stay fun, because I can go into some dark places when my PTSD kicks in. I
Wow.
mean, when I first got back from the military, I was used to sit in a corner. And my roommates used to always be like, "Yo, are you all right?" or whatever like that. And I used to just stay in that corner because I was shell shocked or whatever like that. I was just fucked up from all the shit that I saw. And I was like, this is not me. So I had to remember who I was before I went to the military. So basically, this is me as a celebration of trying to be the real me, who I am.
And
You
also
know,
you're not defining yourself by what happened to you.
right?
You're not letting your past experiences like set your path, and it's like it's like you get up every day and decide who you want to be. And you're such a good reminder. You're one of those comics, it's like you kind of do have to like shake the crowd and be like, we're here to have fun, because it's amazing
Yeah,
how many people will come to a comedy show and sit there with their arms folded, and it's like they kind of need to be shook. They don't really know how to have fun. They're just like, I'm here, but I'm tight still,
yeah,
and a lot of them
yeah.
spend the whole show that way. And it's like, you have to like really like allow them to have a good time and like
And where
get
did they
them
get
there.
tight from? And where did they get tight from? Because they watch must-see TV, they watch the news, and they're like, "Oh, we can't say this now." Oh, am I? I hate it when people came up with this term. Or does that make me a racist? Like, no. Any question that they had, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did that make me a racist?" Because the TV, made them think
Make
that,
them
oh,
like
we
scared and tippy toeing around like everything. Yeah.
yeah, so then you make a joke on stage, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, I couldn't say that. And that's why what was one of my choices to come to Compound Media, because I appreciated Anthony Cumia so much. Never met the dude, but and never even watched Opie and Anthony. But I saw him one time on something. Him and Patrice did a bit, and I was cool with Patrice, because Patrice used to come out to LA and he used to hang with me. I used to be his wingman and
Is that
everything
where you're
like that.
from, LA?
No, no, no. I was living out in LA when I worked for Paramount Pictures, and so people would come from the East Coast. Comics would come out there when they would have meetings at the studios and stuff like that, and do different things and make their rounds. And I would either pick them up from the airport and hang with them, because I was East Coast. They knew me from the East Coast, and then we would chill. But so I knew Patrice, knew Anthony, and then I started seeing that these dudes had free speech. And then so I asked Aaron Berg to kind of like help me out and get in that network and whatever like that. And so Keith and all of them contacted me or whatever. And it's just been a beautiful transition to see you there, to see Pat there, to see, and be introduced to Eastside Dave and all like that. I still don't know Mike Malice that cool or whatever like that. But
Mike Malice, I was very intimidated by Mike Malice, and like I guess I am still a little bit, but like I met him, I guest hosted his show once, and he's a really interesting guy. He's really
yeah,
smart. I think he's really just like efficient. He's in, he's out, he's very prepared. He does a lot of
yeah.
work for his show. He's
And
super smart, and
he
he's just
really
kind of like
is.
all business. He's in, he does the show, he gets out. He's like not he's not into the, and also he's not a stand-up comic, so he's not into like the hang. And like with us, we want to see our fans when they come visit us. We want to go to
Yeah.
Sullivan's. We want to, I don't know,
Yeah.
all the things that we do.
Yeah.
But he's a cool dude.
Yeah, so I've been shot twice, and and I never got
Where?
shot. I
Where were you
never
shot?
I never got shot in the military. I got shot in the head and I got shot in the abdomen.
In your head.
Yeah, this was after I left the military.
How did you not die?
That's my whole point. My whole point is I've been so blessed in this life
Did
that
it skim you? Do you have like a mark from it?
I have like a mark right here on my head. That's why people always wonder why I wear hats, because I used to be so self-conscious about this mark that's right here.
Oh, really? I bet it's
Yeah.
one of those things like nobody can even notice.
I know, because I used so much cocoa butter over the years that the mark probably went away. So, but the thing is that like, you know, you go through so much different tragedy or whatever, but it wasn't in the military where I got shot. I got shot out after I came back to America. I was in undergraduate school in Atlanta, and I got shot on Peachtree Street on 11/17. I think it was 92. It was November 17th, 92. It was like 11:47 p.m. or whatever like that. And I remember
an excellent memory.
Yeah, because when you get shot for the first time in the head, you remember, because I thought I was gonna die then, but I just knew, because my life, when they say that life flashes in front of you or whatever like that, I knew, I saw it all. And when you about to die, you don't think about all this other stuff. You don't think about who owe you money, who you owe money to, whatever like that. You don't think about anything else but a close circle of people, your mom, your dad, and you think, wow, this is it, or whatever like that. But I was able to go to Grady Memorial Hospital, which had the #1 trauma unit, and a couple comedians at the time. Chris Tucker was there. Chris Tucker was at he was still in high school at the time. Monique, me and Monique was roommates at the time. What a lineup. Yeah, Monique, Bruce, Earthquake, all these different people were like comedians starting out and trying to make it or whatever. And we were all at the Comedy Act Theater, and I got shot right outside the Comedy Act Theater. And one of the comedians was a nurse, Arnez J, and he took very good care of me until the paramedics came and everything like that. And then they put me in the ambulance, and I was on the way to the hospital. I talk about this on stage. I was on the way to the hospital, and they stopped the ambulance on the side of the road. Because the dude couldn't get the IV in my arm. So he radioed up to the front. The dude came to the back, put the IV in my arm. But the other dude that couldn't get the IV in my arm, I was so pissed because he was just standing there watching it. And I was thinking to my mind, motherfucker, drive.
He should be driving, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But so that was the first time. Second time I got shot by a 14-year-old kid in Philadelphia when I got back to Philly. I was doing a show with LL Cool J. He was the national spokesman for the Major League Baseball at the time. And what happened was I was coming home from rehearsal. This kid followed me all day because I was in a different lifetime. You know, I was doing part, you know, stuff, and I was doing part entertainment, whatever. But he shot me in my abdomen. So I had to go to Chestnut Hill Hospital. So when you've gone through different things like that, something like this, especially when you've been blessed to live, you go, oh, okay, well, if this is it, this is going to be it. But if it's not going to be it, I'm not going to fall for the bullshit. And I'm definitely not going to politicize this thing.
It's like you immediately know, oh, what's important and what's not. And like all the bullshit kind of falls away. Not advising everybody have a near-death experience, but like it definitely does a good job of sort of like sloughing off the stuff that doesn't matter. Because it's so easy, everyone's just stuck in there now, you know, like it's if you're not practicing like a practice of gratefulness, it's so easy to just like brew in your own kind of unhappiness.
Yeah, and that's why when the girl left me, now that kind of like stung a little bit, because it said to me that I couldn't have a choice. It said to me that you would only want to be with me if my choice is your choice.
Right.
It says to me that we can't even have a conversation about it.
You can't respect each other's differences. And it's like at that point, you probably had so many differences already. You probably didn't eat the same food all the time. You probably didn't have like all the same habits. I'm sure one of you was cleaner than the other. It's like, so why is this the deal breaker?
Right. Because society has now said this is the linchpin that will divide you and say who you're, because I totally believe that someone wanted to put a wedge, or some entity wanted to put a wedge in the United States of America, and they did it politically. And what they did was make all the liberals. When I was growing up, liberal meant that you were open-minded.
Liberal was like libertarians now, I think, are what liberals started out as, or meant to be.
Liberals mean if you're not with them, they'll figure out a way to cut you off.
Yeah, like, and it takes very little.
Yeah.
It's like the radical left, like I remember when I was in college, like the radical left was like, okay, because I had a phase where I was in college where like I'm actually probably still a registered Democrat just from like college. I'll have to change that. but like, you know, and I was like briefly like not briefly, like years, maybe 6 years. I was fully like identified as being a feminist. I went to protests. I like, you know, wasn't getting boyfriends, the whole thing. I was fully invested. And
How she was. That's
yeah,
how she
I
was.
had short hair. I was like, oh,
That was her.
I
That
was
was her.
fat. Nobody liked me. I was the whole
Yeah.
thing. And like, no, but what was like the radical left, which was like, okay, a small group way over there. But now that small group is the whole party. That's everybody now. And if there used to be so much room for diversity within the party and depths of beliefs, and now it's like, if you are not with us on everything, you're fucking out. And now there's more people out than in, which
You
is
get out of
Donald Trump won, and he's probably going to win again. And
He
I
shook
hope
up the world.
above all else, it like throws more people to register as libertarians or to vote libertarian.
He shook up the world. Donald Trump. I liken what Donald Trump did to what Muhammad Ali did with Sonny Liston. Nobody thought Donald Trump was going to win. Everybody just knew it was a
he came down off the escalator like, oh, you know,
everybody,
he looked goofy. Everyone like joked about it.
Everybody just knew. Let me tell you something. When he won Florida, I was at Harbor Fitness in Bay Ridge during the election, and we were making bets. It's an Italian neighborhood, so we're making bets, and everybody, you know, trying to figure out what's going to happen. I knew when he won Florida, he won. And then at this time, Pennsylvania and Ohio hadn't come in yet. But I knew once he won Florida, I said, it's over. This dude is about to win. So I went to bed. I went to bed early that night before the election was over. I went to bed around 8 o'clock, knowing he was going to win. My girlfriend, she was out with her friends. They were having the liberal party.
And they're like celebrating before it's anywhere. Yeah.
Before it's anywhere. No, they're drinking.
Passing out the hats and the shirts already. Yeah.
Exactly. They just knew it was over. Next thing you know, the way I knew the election was over, because the door came in, our dog barked, and she came in the bedroom. She was crying her eyes out. She crawled into bed, and she was like, protect me, save me from the world is going to be over. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then so
you're like, are you getting your period? What's going on?
Exactly. And then from then on, I mean, she was at every rally and protesting and because I wasn't doing it. I didn't fit in their clique or whatever like that, doing that. It's just that, you know, the separation came or whatever like that.
She's like putting a pussy hat on you, and you're like, get it
off. Yeah, you know, and now we're fucking the Kanye now, you know.
Larry?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hi, yeah.
Okay. I heard you say Larry.
No, you froze for a second.
Okay, so what I was saying was it was one of those things to where it just seemed like we were starting to divide. And then so as I went to the comedy clubs, the same thing. Friends, like, let me tell you something. I don't argue with people on social media or anything. So if you believe something, I'm gonna let you have that opinion, and I probably will say I love it. Even if I say something count, I'm letting you know that I'm still cool with you.
It's all good, yeah.
Boy, it was a comedian who I thought, and I didn't know him that well, but I thought we were cool. And I mean, he just cut me off. And then another comedian just cut me off. And
wow,
I'm like,
these were friends. These were like good friends?
Yeah, I'm like, cut me off if I'm an asshole. Which I'm not saying that I won't be that too. You know, because sometimes people be like, oh, they don't like me because I'm black. I said, no, they don't like you because you're an asshole. They don't like me because I'm Jewish. No, they probably don't like you because you're an asshole.
Because you're like a Jewish asshole.
Yeah, they like Jews, but they don't like you, Jew, or they don't like me for whatever because we're assholes. Say that. Don't say that, you know, you're going to use this election to be like, because we were cool before the election. That's
so arrogant to be like, my decision is better and right. My opinions are better than yours, and you're wrong. Therefore, like, we don't have a relationship anymore because you're so wrong. If you're wrong about this, then I don't even know. Like, that's crazy. That's giving that way too much power.
Yeah, and for people we don't know personally. If I said something against your boyfriend, Frank, you're obligated to take his side because you are his girlfriend. And if you say, listen, if you got beef with my boyfriend and y'all can't resolve it, then I'm not going to be in the middle. I'll probably be over here. I can respect that. But if you say to me about somebody that you don't know, never had a conversation with, and don't even know what's going on behind the scenes outside of the TV, and now you're pissed at me, Now I know you're a stupid motherfucker. Now I know that. It's like there's no doubt in my mind that you believed in Santa Claus growing up. There's no doubt in my
Yeah,
mind.
I also think that's a club too. Remember after Trump won, it was the trendy thing was to, oh, you got to cut off anybody who voted for Trump. You got like that was part of the trendy club thing was to like, you got to cut people out of your life, family members, best friends, fuck everybody. And it's like, what does that actually do? Is that going to make Hillary win to cut off like your ties with people that have been good to you?
And these were from the liberals. These people were supposed to be liberal. But my thing is when Republicans lose an election, they don't spend the next 4 years hating people or whatever. They go back to
on the sidewalk screaming in front of a camera. They're not like having public nervous breakdowns, probably private ones, but like it's not so much of a show for attention.
And I was also disappointed in Bloomberg. Spent $500 million on an election that you didn't even come close to being relevant in. $500 million. You know what I mean? You know how much $500 million would have spent towards the cure for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the one that was dissing Donald a lot. But I'm like, you know you don't have a chance. Like, there is not a chance in hell you will ever be president, Mike Bloomberg.
Yeah, but I guess that's also what people said about Trump too, and he probably just figured like, I'm bored, I have money, let's make some t-shirts.
But Donald Trump, I never saw him as I'm bored, I have money, because I got to go back to the 70s and 80s Donald Trump that I knew. Donald Trump has always had a problem with the way
friends with JFK Jr.
Yeah, he's always had a problem with the way that this country was being parceled out to places like China. We used to make things in America.
Yeah.
I remember when we had a big steel mill production here in America. I remember when we had a big car production thing in America. I remember we used to
like Pittsburgh, right? Like Utica,
Pittsburgh.
Upstate New York. Like we made
in Ohio, you know, and Michigan, all those different. We were proud as Americans in the 70s and 80s, especially when we celebrated our bicentennial. In 1976, I remember how proud America was in 1976 because of 1776. You know what I'm saying? So we celebrated and we were happy and we were booming, we were making things. And all of a sudden, jobs just started going different places. Jimmy Carter gave back the Panama Canal back to Panama. You know, for other countries to try to take it away from Panama. I was like, what the fuck is going on? The next thing you know, people came in and just Bill Clinton came in and started signing deals that wasn't in our best interest as far as like trade agreements. Next thing you know, we wasn't producing anything anymore, and we wasn't. So Donald Trump's platform to me was, listen, we got to start making things over here. Got to start getting our people back to work. We have to be
self-sufficient.
And we have to be self-sufficient, because if we start depending on other people like China,
they can fuck us.
Exactly. And what have they been doing? You know, they've been fucking us. And then with this whole virus thing, listen, all I'm saying is the official story said it came from China. All I'm saying is I don't think it's a coincidence. I'm not saying that the Chinese people in China.
This is not a naturally occurring virus. Like, it was made in a lab. It was mutated to go from animal to human, and it was also mutated to like spread like it did. But it's also not as deadly as they first anticipated.
Yeah, they wanted us. They remember the snowstorms that come out during the winter and they tell you, oh my God, so much snow was about to come.
Yeah, and and then it's like a drizzle and it melts on the car.
Exactly. That's like a dude saying, girl, I'm about to wear you out. I'm about to wear you. And they come in.
No, you're neither a grower nor a shower.
Exactly. That's so beautiful. But
so Larry, do you get any shit for being involved with Compound Media, or do you feel like the bulk of your shit from people came from supporting Trump?
Okay, I feel like a lot of the bulk of the shit came from me drinking Jameson, you know, in clubs. And so there were times that I wasn't always a model citizen or whatever like that. I believe that those things are warranted. Then I believe the Trump thing came along. But then ironically what happened was when I went to Compound Media, I lost so many friends.
When did you go to Compound?
This was back in September.
Okay.
I lost so many friends because they labeled
Wow.
Anthony Cumia and Compound as a racist
Isn't that
organization.
so sad? Was it,
I was like, wow. I've
what
never
did you
met.
find it was like, I don't know, like if you could stereotype the kind of people that were cutting you off, it was mostly, or was it kind of across the board?
It was racially, it was across the board, but politically, it was Democrats. And I don't think Anthony Cumia says that he is. I think he's open enough to be like, listen, this is what I like or whatever like that. But he never is like a proponent of Trump. Da da da. If he has a joke against
Yeah,
Trump,
I think
guess
he
what he'll.
finds him funny. I think he thinks he's probably like a lot of people who are like, yeah, he's better than what Hillary would have been. He's better than the sort of status quo. But I think above all, he probably finds Trump entertaining. I don't think
So many,
he's like the biggest Trump fan.
so many people ask me not to go to, and that, and now, first
Wow.
of all, I'm going to do what I want to do because I like the man. I like the people there. I love everybody that is there. You know, that's just the bottom line. But that made me want to know everybody, especially Anthony, more. Cause you know, I kept hearing that, oh, Keith the cop is this, and the fans at Compound, they've been nothing
Wow.
but very
The
supportive of
best
me.
people, the best people I've
Yeah,
met. Let me tell you, I did a show at the Stonewall Inn for 6 years.
yeah,
Did I get any fans from it? Not really. Did they ask me to, like, walk in Pride or host any other events? Did I get any other opportunities from doing that show for 6 years, spending money on ads, bust? No, I go to Compound Media and do a show, and within a couple of months, I have fans showing up at stand-up shows, following my Twitter following
yeah,
explodes. Like those are real results. It's like you're actually being heard, being seen, being appreciated. Like the
yeah,
fans are the best, nicest people. Like I resonate with you because like I had people giving me shit too, and I think people cutting me off has sort of happened steadily over a period of
yeah,
years, just from, like, I guess not being a sheep and poking fun
yeah,
at I guess people I shouldn't have poked fun at. um no, but I think a lot of people just were like, "Oh, you're not like us. You're not like a Brooklyn cunt. You have your own thoughts and
right,
feelings."
right, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like the thing is, and very specifically about Compound Media, what happened was Aaron. I always credit Aaron and Gino for making the introduction. Because, you know, just like with any family, you got to like be brought in and be like, oh, he's an okay guy. He's one of, you know, he's a friend or he's an associate of ours or whatever like that. Because the environment has to be the right mix or whatever like that. I do believe in you have to have the right environment of people. I didn't come in there as an Italian black guy. I came in there as a human being that wanted to get loud. And then then you would see me there all the time watching everybody's show. Even when, you know, because I wanted to learn how do you do this thing. I already know how to be a stand-up comedian. I already know that I shine in that world. But I wanted to make sure I was doing because Anthony set a great example. And so then it became like, and every time he saw me, him and Dave Landau, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Whatever like that.
The
The next thing you
nicest
know,
people.
yeah, then they're like, yo, you want to come to the Christmas party? And then I go to the Christmas party. The next thing you know, they're like, hey, you want to be on the show today? And Dave had me on the show with Pat Oates, with a Cumia show. And then Aaron Bergman would have me on. I knew Aaron and Gina would because we were friends. But then you would have me on. Then Pat would have me on. And then Eastside Dave would have me on. I'm like, what the fuck are these people talking about? And then they say, oh, well, it's the fans or whatever like that. Next thing I know, I go on
The
Twitter.
fans are not racist.
The fans are loving me. The fans are like, yo,
Yeah.
Larry, and I love it, whatever like that. And so then we did the Comedians of the Compound out of White Plains. Was fucking one of the best
Oh my
shows.
God, one of the best shows ever.
I
The most fun.
I wish that show was on streaming or streaming live, or where
Oh
you could see
yeah.
a copy of that show. Everybody will understand that was the dopest fucking show at White Plains Comedy Club. So next thing you know, all the fans of Compound Media who traveled from all over was giving me hugs and love and everything like that. I said, what it is when people have a preconceived notion about something and they've never checked it out, they want you to be scared too. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just, you know, and I would never want to do a show from any place other than Compound Media because I know we have free speech.
Honestly, there's nowhere else that actually believes that you can just be funny above all else. It's like freedom of speech. It's like, and I hate that the idiots think that freedom of speech means you can be racist, you can say awful shit with no repercussions. It's like, no, freedom of speech is like means you can be funny and not worry about hurting people's feelings.
Right.
You can just be fucking funny, and the fans recognize and appreciate that. And they're smart people. It's a pretty diverse fan base. They live all over the United States.
All over the United States. They even live in other countries.
Yeah.
And they contact me. I mean, they hit me up in my DM and be like, Larry, keep doing what you're doing. Like, this is from people I don't even know. And then, like, saying, like, last week was my birthday. I mean, I got Compound Media people out of the ass talking about happy birthday, Larry. Happy birthday, Larry. Don't know you seem like a good dude. Happy birthday. I was like, wow, come on.
That's because we put your birthday in the calendar.
That is true. That is true. And I love you for that.
But you're a genuinely really good person, and like you're full of light.
Yeah.
And like I feel like we always have this conversation like when we're both high, or we're like, I feel like we were both at the same New York like Christmas party, and we're like, I was super high and you were high. I was like, Larry, you're such a good person. You're full of joy. You're an angel.
And I'm always like, Chrissy, I love your hair. You look good. You're beautiful. I don't hear what else you're saying. You're just so beautiful. And the thing is that that's why it's so cool, because we're like family. Like, I'm supposed to be able to tell everybody I love y'all, and they say I love you back or whatever like that. And I didn't get that from any other organization other than Gotham Comedy Club and Compound Media.
Wow.
And you know, and that's why I love those two organizations so much, and that's why I will always champion Anthony Cumia. It does me a great good to be at Compound Media. It really does, and it has nothing to do with, you know, they're racist or anything like that. Let me tell you something. They do make jokes, but so do I.
Of course, yeah. So does everybody if they're being honest with themselves.
So, come on. Like,
yeah.
I say jokes. I talk about Asian people. I talk about everybody. I do jokes and stuff. I say, you know, I'll never say nothing bad about Asian people. All my clothes
Anybody
that I got
who
on.
says that they don't make fun of another group of people is fucking lying. Because people love making fun of white boys. People love making fun of white women. It's like everybody's had a turn at this point, I think, probably, but transgender people, I think they're probably due. Everybody makes fun of every group. Like, there's no group of people who don't amongst each other go like, oh, like, because every group has stereotypes. Some of it's real, some of it's just fun to fuck around with, and like that's.
And just like we have to live, like, we are comedians. We're the kids who got kicked out of class. We're the kids that didn't sit there like sheep and just was like good, obedient students all day. We were in the back of the class making people fucking laugh. We were the ones that had to go to the principal's office. So there was already something off about us anyway, because we saw through the bullshit. But then the thing is what got me is that as we became adults, we were supposed to be able to say, okay, we're adults now. We're able to make our own decisions. But no, people still want to make decisions.
You still have to fall into a group, yeah.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. What if I don't want to? What if I just don't want Hillary Clinton? Do I just have to sit my vote out this year? What if I do want our jobs to come back to America?
I got shit for voting for Jill Stein. She was like the Green Party candidate. I got so much shit. I had a girl like in person defriend me. This girl, Ashley. We were friends for years. I was always good to her. And then just like, oh, you voted for a third party? Aghast. Like, couldn't believe it. And then cut me off. And like, you know, thought that Frank voted for Trump. Like, not like it's any of her business at all, but he didn't. He voted for the fucking libertarian guy. And it's like, cut me off completely, and it really stung at first for a long time.
Yes, it stings.
But now I'm happy for it, because it's like, oh, this person was not a ride or die friend. This person didn't get me, is not on board, is not a supporter. And it's like, well, if you don't, then bye. Because it's like, you know, there's only room for so many people in the circle anyway.
But like I said, I know you. And if you told me today that you were a diehard Democrat, that would not change my opinion of you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You're still you. Yeah.
You're still you. Like, I can, that doesn't stop me and you from being cool. Now, me and you may not ever talk politics, and I may still know on vote day that you're going to vote for a Democrat. That's fine, because that is what I took an oath for when I pledged my allegiance to fight and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, that we would have the choice, that we wouldn't be dictated to, that it wouldn't be some foreign invasion coming in, conquering us, and telling us who we're supposed to like. I want that. I want to be right. I want to be wrong, but I want to have the choice. I don't want
Yeah.
to be like, hold it over your head that me and you
There's a
can't.
reason why the voting booth is only big enough for one person. It's because
Yeah.
it's not, we don't vote in groups, you know, like it's just you and the paper and what you want. And it's like, it shouldn't make other people mad. It's like, if you're
I didn't
mad
say
about how somebody else votes, like, okay, debate, but like being angry isn't, it's,
I was
it's
I was with my
divisive.
I was with my girl for 9 years. That means we went through all of Obama's presidency, the 8 years of Obama's presidency and the first year of Donald Trump's presidency. I did not say a peep. And this man looks closer to me in color than Donald Trump. That lets you know I don't care about color. I care about winning. I
Right.
care about bringing everything back to our country so that we could be autonomous from anybody else's country. And if you can't get with that, I have a problem with you on that. But I am not going to be mad at you that you voted for Hillary Clinton, because I understand
It's
that
not
she's
personal. Yeah.
it's not personal. I don't know Hillary, never met her. I met Bill Clinton one time, but I don't know Hillary, and I don't know Bill Clinton. I just met him one time. I don't know Donald Trump. I've been knowing of him since the 70s. I'm not going to ruin my relationship with you, Chrissy, because of a man that I don't know. And that's
Right.
that's to me, that's common sense. And even during this pandemic or thing that we're supposed to be going through, I see through the bullshit. I watch how they're attacking. Donald Trump, they're treating Donald Trump like a nigga. That's what they're doing. They're treating Donald Trump like they're treating him like they used to treat black people back in the 50s and the 60s.
Oh,
Anything
wow.
he do is fucking wrong. Like, he's never going to get a break from the papers. He's
Uh,
never going to get a, he's
he's
never
got to be like tough to be able to, I don't know
and
how
I
you
like
must
that.
have a good support system, because it's a lot to deal with.
Because I like the fact that he knows they are lying. He knows that they are, and you know who else I like? That new press secretary. That
What's her
chick.
name? The blonde?
I just know she's fine. And see,
She's
that's the
cute.
extent. That's the
She's
extent of
fine.
my.
I haven't heard her say anything, but she's fine.
No, I did hear her say one thing, and she put the press in their place twice. I heard her speak twice. She put the press in their place twice. When the dude, the loser dude, asked the reporter, when he asked her, "Well, do you feel like taking that statement back that you said when you said that Donald Trump said
Oh,
that?"
yeah. And then she threw it back at them. She's like, well, Washington Post has to take this back, and CNN has to take this back.
Yes.
She like rattled off like 5 different answers. And then he was
Yeah.
like, hey, you were prepared.
What? Like, you were prepared for my preemptive strike.
You were
That's what.
prepared for my shitty question that you were fully expecting.
That I was going to try to get a soundbite out of you and
Yeah.
then play that over and over. But no, you knew who we were. And see, I like Donald Trump for that. I like Donald Trump for that. He took it to a street fight during the election. You say something about him, he's like, okay, well, you want to talk about me? I'm going to talk about you. And they're like, no, but Donald, you were just supposed to take it. And the same thing with this chick. It was like, you were just supposed to lay down and take it. And I like people who got the balls to stand up for themselves, because
Right.
that's what we have to do in this country. We have to stand up for ourselves. We can't just let these liberals who were supposed to be so nice
And
all of a sudden.
accepting. Didn't
Yeah.
liberal used to mean like accepting of
Yeah.
all kinds of people? And
Yeah,
not
now these
anymore.
motherfuckers are bullies. And it's like, what do you do to a bully? You stand up to him. Because if we lay down, then we might as well give this whole thing up. I'm sorry, we might as well take the flag down off the pole and just fly up England's flag, or fly up Germany's flag, or fly up China's flag, because we the Republicans in this republic has said, you know what, we're scared of our liberals, and we're scared of losing our jobs, and we're scared of losing there was a porn star who stood up. She's a Republican, and they tried to attack her or whatever like that or whatever. But she says, listen, I like this country more than I like my job. If that means I got to lose my job, I'll lose my job. But I'm not
Wow.
going to lose my country and whatever
Yeah,
like that.
it's bigger than that.
Yeah, I believe in stuff like that. So I do love Democrats. I do. I even love these angry people. But my message is this: don't think you're going to scare me into turning around by holding something over my head, because I've been to that place where you think you're about to leave this earth and none of that shit matters.
And also,
So,
you're not an idiot. You're not like, you've looked into everything. Like, you believe the things you believe because of things you've been through or things you've looked into for yourself, and you've done your own research. So it's not like you're also like a grown man. You're not like an idiot right out of college
What
who
the
like
fuck?
needs to be told how things really
Yeah.
are.
Now, do I have problems? Do I go to clubs and fuck girls in bathrooms? Yes, I do. Do I have all
That's
these
neither
other
here nor
issues?
there.
That's neither here nor there. And we all got it. I'm not sitting up here saying I'm a saint or whatever like that. But all I'm saying is that you're not going to take my right and choice away from me, and you're not going to divide me from somebody who is a Democrat, who I don't, okay, so I don't agree with you. I'm not stopping my friendship with you. That's a you thing. That's not a me thing.
Yeah.
You know.
It has nothing to do with one another. How
Yeah.
often in a friendship does politics like really need to come up? It's like, watch my dog, come drink with me, be a wingman, let's go to this movie. It's like, it doesn't have to enter into it.
It doesn't. And it only enters into it when the media gets so intense that that's all they're doing is firing out.
It make you feel like you have to pick, like you have to.
Yeah. I mean,
literally, they associated as evil.
Literally, they were saying, drop people that's in your family. Stop supporting businesses. Stop. They was earmarking people who you should not deal with if you don't like the Republicans or whatever like that. And they was telling them why, because we're part of the problem. And it's like, wait a minute. It's just, we have a different way of looking at something. And when did that become wrong in a country that's supposed to be free?
You're not going to bully people into joining your side. Like that doesn't work.
And I think that, like, you know, it's fun to be at Compound Media because I hear stuff that make me, like Aaron Berger do a joke and I'd be like, oh, or Gino would do a joke, I'd be like, oh, but then I look at myself and I look at my joke and I'd be like, yeah, you do the same thing, so shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you don't do that though. I noticed you strictly stay in the wet spot. And I think that we all should be there.
I mean, I like going on in hot water and doing characters. Like that's what I feel like I really come alive if there's like an unstable woman in the news or in the public eye. Like then I'm like, okay, I really feel like I need to parody this person, or you know, like a female comic, or I don't know, if I feel called to it. But like, yeah, like wet spot is mostly, like we're doing sex stuff, and because I felt like there was a need for that element on Compound Media. It was like very male, very politics and current events. And I was like, you know, Frank worked with me a lot. We just thought about it and pitched it and just, you know, really kind of found what it was missing, much like you did. You were like, oh, there's a space for me here. I can deliver something that's not there.
And you know, that Carol Baskins that you did, I mean, that blew me out of the water.
Thanks.
When I saw it, that first episode that you did, because I was so done with that whole bullshit. Because someone made me sit down and watch it. So I sat down and watched it. So the very first episode, I loved it. I was like, oh shit, this is wild. This is blah, blah, blah.
Tiger King?
Tiger King. But as it went on, I was like, oh, fuck these people. Fuck them all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally could care less about anybody in there. And if I had to choose a person that I kind of was like cool with, was the dude that had all them girls, all the women.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
guy.
That was it. I mean, but it was strictly on a he fucking chicks.
He can
get
girls,
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly. It was strictly on that. I knew he
Doc
got him
Antle.
young. Okay, that's his name. But Carol, I thought she was the biggest piece of shit, and I hated her.
Such a hypocrite.
And the dude, the main dude that was the Tiger King,
Joe
Exotic. I thought he was too obsessed with Carol, and I thought that he let his business slack.
Yeah, he loved himself way more than his work and like the Tigers. Yeah.
And so then I went back to being more busier, you know, with the things that I do, because I usually don't watch TV. And so, and people always think that that's something wrong about me because I don't watch TV. But it's like, you gotta watch it, whatever, like that. But working in TV for all those years, it's almost like working at McDonald's. You're not gonna eat a McDonald's burger after you work for a while at McDonald's. I'm sorry. And so the thing is that I went back to my life. But then I saw you, and I was like, whoa, that shit was dope. But see, I can appreciate stuff. I can appreciate a parody off of something, even if I don't like the show. Your parody off of it was great. And then you had the mannerisms down and everything like that. The next thing I know, everybody and their sister wanted to be Carol Baskins. And then I was like, okay,
okay. Everyone was doing it.
Everybody's Carol Baskins now. Everybody, and they're just doing half-ass jobs at it.
Thanks, Larry. Oh
Yeah.
God. All right. I hate to do this. I feel like we could talk like hours and hours. But I have
Yeah.
to wrap it up. Larry, where can people find you other than Let's Get Loud show?
Okay. So now, when the Comedy Addict comes back, that's going to be back on Wall Street or whatever like that. So hopefully they're opening back up
Oh
the
yeah, that's a good
towns or
show.
whatever. So I'll be back at the Comedy Attic on Wall Street. Also, Let's Get Loud now streams live from letsgetloud.com.
Wow.
You know, from the website, because there was too many restrictions on fucking YouTube and Facebook. You said this, you said, I was getting notices like you said this at this mark or whatever like that, and if you do it again, we may have to take
Wow.
it. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I see what they're doing,
Censorship.
but then also just stay. You know, I'm at Larry Beyah on Twitter and Larry Beyah on Facebook, and soon to be Larry Beyah on Instagram.
Good. You're making everything the same name. That's perfect. People can
Yeah.
find you. Larry,
Right.
thank you so much for coming on the show. You're one of my favorite people in comedy. Can't wait to
Love
see
you.
you when all this crap subsides a little bit.
All
I will
right.
talk to you soon.
Yeah, baby. All right, peace.
Bye, Larry.